What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and we will be talking Arsenal transfers. The merry-go-round continues, people. Nothing seems to be happening at the moment. You know, it's as I always said, it's like being on a treadmill at the gym. There's a lot of movement, but you're not actually going anywhere. The Declan Rice saga continues, and I don't know about anybody else. And you know, some people say you've got to be patient. This is how transfers go, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just getting a little bit bored of the whole Declan Rice situation now. I've got to be totally honest. It's like, just sign him or move on. I know football doesn't work like that. And I know it does take a long time. You're talking about a £100 million deal. There's always going to be a lot of ups and downs. But you know, if we do end up buying him, I'll kind of be like, oh, whatever, you know. I won't even be gassed if we sign him. And if we don't, it's like, well, you've just wasted 6 months trying to get this guy and you still haven't got the deal done. It's so frustrating being an Arsenal fan when it comes to transfers, because it seems no matter how well we do in the Premier League, every summer we end up in a saga, you know, and more often than not, it doesn't end with that player becoming an Arsenal player. Mudryk was a saga. Caicedo was. Vlahovic was. You know, we've been here from years back. Higuain, Suarez, you know, we've been here time and time again. Yann Villa, Draxler. And Declan Rice just seems to be another one on a long, long list. They've known since January this was their top target. They've spoken to him. They knew what West Ham wanted. They must have known that other clubs were interested in him. You've got to now, Arsenal. You've got to go big or go home. If you're about that life, you've got to turn up with a big bag of money and give it to West Ham. That's the only thing you can do now. Otherwise, just step away from it. If you can't handle it, get out of there. I told you, you've got to swim with the sharks now if you're trying to make these big signings. For me, Declan Rice is not even worth £100 million. And I'm not just saying that because City are in for him, but the manager wants him, so you've got to try and get him. Like Musa's saying there, Arsenal must grow up. You've got to grow up. You know, this ain't, like you just said, this ain't TK Maxx, this is Havertz. If you ain't got enough money, then put the Louis Vuitton bag down, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It ain't for everyone. You got to make sure you got enough dough on that card. Right now, Edu better check his spending limit and his overdraft. So, listen, it is what it is. English taxi, Ross, as I told you. This brother, Declan Rice, for me, maybe I'm harsh. I don't see a £100 million player. Yeah, maybe 100 million Jamaican dollars. But anyway, big up to everyone locked in. Thank you very much for your support. As always, legendary community, goated community, people. Bless up Curtis and C Unit, says Cooper. And big up to Jashar, half Crystal Palace, half Arsenal fan, I think he is. But big up to him for becoming a member on the channel. Really appreciate your support as always. And everyone locking in every day, people. So the saga continues at Arsenal with Declan Rice. As I said, it's getting boring. It's getting boring now. As soon as Manchester City came into this race, to save myself the stress, I said, just accept he's not coming to us. If he joins us, it's a bonus. But in my head, psychologically, I don't... It's just the easiest way for me to deal with it. Muna said, did you hear what Eni Aluko said on TalkSport about Pep helping Arteta out by bidding for Rice? I didn't hear that. I haven't heard TalkSport this morning, to be honest. I'm tired of Rice. I need noodles, says Jao. Renitsu said, Curtis, why are we taking so long to make a bid? You know what? Let's just get into it. No more waffling. I'm like Arteta in the press conference. That people saying the rice is dry now. The rice been overcooked, people. It's all mushy now. It's turned into rice pudding. Anyway, let's talk Declan Rice. Let's get it out the way. It's not even exciting or interesting to talk about it anymore. This is what happened last night. David Ornstein dropped the bomb. Declan Rice news. Is it Arsenal? Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. Couscous Rice. Declan Couscous, we're calling him. It's not quite Rice. It's not quite the same. But West Ham have turned down Manchester City's offer for Declan Rice. They made a formal proposal last night. So this was this morning. He tweeted this, worth 80 million plus 10 million in add-ons. West Ham were unimpressed and quickly rejected the offer. Arsenal have seen 2 bids rebuffed but remain determined to sign the 24-year-old. So let's break it down. Arsenal offered 75 plus 15. City offered 80 plus 10. It amounts to the same thing, 90 million. But City offered the 80 million in 2 installments rather than the 5 installments that Arsenal offered, and apparently the 10 million pound was much more achievable. I mean, let's face it, if they say 10 million for winning the Premier League, they'll probably get that next season, because City will likely win the Premier League again next year. Whereas Arsenal, we haven't won it for 20 years. It's a little bit more unrealistic. But West Ham rejected it straight away, and West Ham now will be sitting inside their training ground today going, everything is happening that they wanted to happen. They did not want Arsenal to just sign Declan Rice. They didn't want Manchester City to just sign him. Have you noticed with this Declan Rice situation, everything is being made public? When Arsenal make an offer, they say how much it was, the installments, the add-ons. They're leaking everything to the press. Because what they're saying is, come and have a look. £1 fish. Very, very good. £1 fish. They want everyone in the market to come and have a look at Declan Fish. They want everyone to see it because they want a bidding war. And now they've got a bidding war. And how often do Arsenal win a bidding war? And it's true, the media probably do hate us because nobody's calling this Manchester City offer embarrassing. When we offered £90 million, people said it was embarrassing. Oh, it's an embarrassing offer. You know they want 100 million. 90 million is embarrassing. When Man City offer it, it's all good. It's no problem. Now, obviously, their add-ons are much more achievable, so I do understand that, and it doesn't look good for us when we put stupid add-ons in there. But ultimately, they've got what they wanted. They've got an auction for a player that, as I said, is unbelievably overpriced, but it's probably a reflection of the modern game, the modern market, and that's how much it's going to cost you. Now, let's move on from that first bit. Let me extend the story to where we get involved. We know Man City have had an offer. We know it's been turned down. How are we going to respond? How are we going to react? The negative side of this offer from Manchester City is this, people, that Manchester City said they would only make an offer if they'd had encouragement that the player wanted to join them. LSU saying, they were saying, TalkSport pundits who said the Manchester City offer wasn't serious. Okay, fair enough. Manchester City had a meeting apparently last Friday and said, we will not make an offer unless we are given encouragement from Declan Rice that he is prepared to join Man City. They're not going to make an offer until Rice's agent says, you know what, if you can agree a fee, we'd be interested. Well, now, Monday evening, they made an offer. So clearly, over the weekend, Manchester City have been given encouragement to make this offer. Now, Jacob Steinberger, as I've said time and time again, he's one of the best when it comes to West Ham. He knows what he's talking about. He said this morning, Declan Rice met Pep Guardiola towards the end of last season, and although he wants to stay in London, he is not going to turn Manchester City's offer down if they end up outbidding Arsenal. I've said this time and time again. Doesn't matter how much this boy wants to stay in London, he will go to City if they agree the offer. Mudryk wanted to come to Arsenal, but Chelsea agreed and he went there. He's not going to turn down Man City to stay at West Ham. He's leaving West Ham. He'd be a fool to turn down Man City. Now, he wants to stay in London. The ball is very much in Arsenal's court now. What are they going to do with it? Where is this third offer? What are they waiting for? Why is it not happening right now? They should be making that offer today. If you want him, if you're going for him and you're going to offer the 100 million, you've got to make the offer now. City have been rejected. Go back in. Say, right, there's the 190 million, 10 million in achievable add-ons. What are you saying? You can stay in London, because this is a very complicated situation. In the grand scheme of things, it's a no-brainer for Declan Rice to go to Manchester City. They've just won the treble. They're the best team on the planet. Why would you not go to Manchester City? But there are a number of factors that I think are why he wants to stay at Arsenal. There are a number. I think you've got to look at it. Pep's the kind of manager that could easily spend 100 million on Declan Rice, and if he didn't look how he wanted him to, he'll bench him. He doesn't care. He's benched De Bruyne. He benched everyone at some stage in the season. He's ruthless. Declan Rice knows you go to Arsenal, you play every week. I think within a year, Declan Rice would be Arsenal captain as well. You've also got to understand, Declan Rice is 24 years of age. He could still come to Arsenal for 3 or 4 years and still go to Manchester City in 3 years' time, or go elsewhere if he wanted to. He probably thinks West Ham to Arsenal is a big step forward. West Ham to Manchester City at this moment in time is a giant leap. You know, where West Ham are, bottom half of the table, where Man City are, you know, he might think, I want the one in between first to get used to playing at a high level, Champions League. I can be the captain. Imagine you can be the hero that turns Arsenal around and wins that title. And you're the captain and you're the hero. I've said it before and I've said it again, and this is no disrespect to Man City because I respect how good they are. Winning a title at Arsenal is bigger than winning a title at Manchester City. We would still be celebrating right now if we'd won the Premier League. I don't hear nobody talking about Man City winning the treble anymore. It's just like, okay, they're the best team. They won it. It is what it is. We move on. You know, if we'd won the title, I'd still be on holiday right now. I told you, I was taking my wallet and my passport, and that was it. Hangover part 4, people. I'm in Vegas waking up, don't know what's happened. So I think he really wants to go to Arsenal, but if we play silly games, we get silly prizes, you know, and that'll mean he'll end up at Manchester City. They look very calm about the situation, City. The next part of the story, anyway, Pep Guardiola believes that Declan Rice can replace Ilkay Gundogan, and Manchester City will push to get the deal done. However, it is understood that Rice's preference remains Arsenal, and the onus is on them to bring Mikel Arteta's top target to the club. Now, as I've said a few times, people, anyone who watches this channel on a regular basis, you know that I've not been fully convinced by Mikel Arteta. Right, I haven't. I do give him a lot of credit for what he did last season, but ultimately we fell short. If they don't deliver this signing for him, I think you've got to seriously question what is going on above him. In terms of Edu, in terms of Vinay, Richard Garlick, Tim Lewis, and of course the Cronkates. Because at what point are they going to deliver a top target for him? You know, and a big transfer over £50 million. He's just delivered you second place, Champions League football, everything that the Cronkates want. You've had 6 months to tie this deal up. They didn't know that Gundogan was leaving. They only found out last week. Why has the deal not been wrapped up? Why are we in this saga? I hope we get him. But I'll be honest, I'm concerned. That third offer needs to come in. The problem you've got then is, do Manchester City just go, okay, you've offered 100 million, we'll offer 110 million. Then what? Because I don't think Arsenal will go any higher than 100 million. So I just hope this is not another, we tried, we was ambitious, we offered big money, but we didn't sign the player. We need to change that narrative and start buying these players. Otherwise, we're never going to win the league if we can't swim with the sharks, people. It's that real. So, yeah, while his preference is still to remain in London, as we know, and join Arsenal, Declan Rice is waiting for Arsenal to raise their bid for him after West Ham rejected Manchester City's opening offer of 90 million. Arsenal are preparing to lodge a third bid for Rice and are likely to need to meet West Ham's valuation. I think this will be Arsenal's last offer for him, right? I don't think we'll make a fourth offer. My worry is obviously that if we offer 100, do Man City go 1.5, 1.10, 1.15, and then I think we're done, we're out of the race. And he's just said that he would go to City if they agreed the price. What we need to happen is we offer 100 million with a good structure, West Ham accept it, even if Man City match it, Declan Rice says, okay, I'm going to Arsenal. They've agreed the deal, and that's the one I want to go to. That's what needs to happen. If this third offer doesn't land, I think we're out of the race. If it lands, City will probably match it. maybe just go above it. We need Declan Rice then to say, I want to go to Arsenal. That's an acceptable offer. I think West Ham would allow him to go there if we offered 100 million in the right way. But I want to know your thoughts, people, in the comments. I think that the Arsenal fan base in general is very frustrated by this now. But ultimately, if we win this and get the deal done, I think we'll all kind of accept, okay, it was a saga, but at least we got it over the line in the end. Are there any of you that think we should walk away? I put out a tweet this morning saying, listen, offer 100 million with the, the right add-ons and structure. If they don't accept it, walk away. Don't let this drag on into July and just walk away. I know it's our top target, and I know people like me have been critical of the club, but if you offer 100 million with a good structure and payment, what more can you do? All we can say really is, okay, maybe you took too long to get there and you allowed City to join in the race. You should have done it sooner. If it's over 100 mil, walk away. Even if people like me are criticising you, walk away, Craig David settings, and go and get Caicedo, go and get Barella, go and get somebody else. Go and buy 2 midfielders if you have to. Go and buy 2 midfielders. And fix it like that. This guy's not the be-all and end-all. He's not. He's a good player, but we don't need to be getting bumped by West Ham and having a bidding war. We haven't got time for it. We go on tour in 3 weeks. We want our new signings there. So that's where I'm at with it, people. Ghost Steel, thank you for your super sticker, bro. And he's put a super chat in. Priorities first. Havertz money plus extra cash equals Rice. This year's Premier League will be the toughest. Watch out for Chelsea. I think where a lot of people are talking about Havertz is people are saying, if Declan Rice was your top target, why did you not go bigger on the Declan Rice offer, knowing we all knew that there were other clubs in England that were trying to get him? It was, we'd heard links, Man United, and other clubs were looking at him. I think people are saying, why have we spent 65 million on a guy that was not considered a priority signing, rather than paying an extra 10 million for your number one transfer target? Surely they should have said, put Havertz on the back burner for a minute, get the Declan Rice deal done quicker, because that's the top target, that's the priority. Then maybe you go for Havertz afterwards. That would have been my thought process. Why was the priority deal not done first? But again, it's such a big deal. And sometimes in the defence of the club, Declan Rice might have been waiting to see what Manchester City had to offer. I agree with Exotic. He said, for 100 million, the guy needs to be changing your life. He needs to change the direction of your football club, I would say, for 100 million. But football has changed, hasn't it? Anthony cost United 100 million euros. He hasn't exactly set the world on fire. So 100 million is probably what 50 million was 5 years ago. LSU Gunner said Rice price will be discounted by sales, possibly Partey. Havertz discounted by the Xhaka fee. Xhaka's what? We're going to get 12, 13 million for him. Havertz is 60 plus add-ons, so 48 million for Havertz, I suppose, doesn't sound that bad. It's just a player we're not excited for. Marco said Rice was in Edu's kitchen. Some people say it's fake. Yeah, I saw that Photoshop. Jorge said, it's like we want to complicate things. When is a big Arsenal transfer not complicated? I think they're always complicated. It's like a relationship status, isn't it? It's complicated, No one knows what's going on with Arsenal. B Dizzle said, are we weaker if Rice comes in and Thomas Partey also leaves? I think that's a fantastic point. It's a discussion that I had yesterday. Is Declan Rice better than Thomas Partey? If anybody thinks Rice is better than Partey, that's fair enough. But even if he is better, there's not a lot in it, I tell you that much. And I'm not even sure if he is better than him, if I'm being totally honest. But time will tell. We haven't seen him make that step up yet. Thomas Partey, until probably the start of April, we were saying he's playing better than Casemiro and Rodri. I know we're thinking about recency bias. The end of the season, he was really poor. But Partey's done it in the Champions League. He's done it in La Liga. Time will still tell with Declan Rice. So it's an interesting one. I think time will tell would be my answer. White Glove said, imagine City and Arsenal both walk away. I would love to actually see that. I think that would be hilarious. You'd see what happened then to West Ham. Oh, give us 80, we'll take it. But West Ham know someone's going to pay that 100 million. It's who blinks first. It's like a game of poker. Simon Paul said, we don't get him unless Rice says to West Ham to take our offer. They want it over 2 years. We offered over 6. City's offer is over 2. Now, that's where Arsenal are shambolic. I know I've tried to defend them a little bit, but we know West Ham have made it abundantly clear we need the dough over 2 years. They've got financial fair play issues hanging around their neck. They bought Paqueta. They bought Skamaka. They bought other players without selling anyone for any significant cash. They need this Declan Rice money in 2 years. We turn up, go, here, mate, take it over 6. They're like, well, what do you want us to do with that? Get in trouble with financial fair play. They need it over 2 years. If you can't pay it over 2 years, walk away from the deal. It's that simple. You know, it's that simple. Big up Fitz in the building. Hope you're well, bro. He said Edu should have made the 100 million bid in the first place. Smash and grab. He takes too long to do deals. I honestly think there's something wrong with him. I'm very critical of Edu. I am critical of him. I don't believe he is world class in that job role. But the only thing I would say in his defense, without knowing all the facts, is Edu can only do what he's given. So if the Kroenkes say to Edu, right, we'll give you 80 million to offer for Declan Rice, but we can only pay it over 5 or 6 years, and they can have 50 million up front and 20 million in add-ons or whatever. He can't physically then go to West Ham and go, I tell you what, I'll offer you 100 million. He can only offer what he's given. Now, I don't know if they are giving him 100 million and he's trying to, riddle his way out of it and make it a bit cheaper so that he gets brownie points. I don't know. It's very difficult as a fan to put all the blame on Edu or all the blame on the Kroenkes. Is it a combination of both? Edu can only negotiate what he's given. That's not me saying he's innocent in this, because he's probably not. But what I'm saying is we don't know the way he's being given the money to bid it. It's very unclear. We don't really get that info. But I do think he struggles to negotiate these big transfers. I think that's obvious. Big up Fitz. Big up George. He said, we need to get this done at all costs, even if that means spending crazy money. They beat us to the title. Can't let them beat us on this. And that's a good point, because psychologically, it's kind of like they took the title away from us. We probably handed it over to them, to be honest. They didn't do anything out of this world to win the title off us. We were crumbling. But I think psychologically, Arsenal fans, we want to get Rice just to say, we got him ahead of you. You're big bad Man City treble winners, and we just got your top target ahead of you. So it's almost like you want Arsenal to pay whatever it takes to get him, even if it costs £120 million, even though we know he's nowhere near worth it. It's a case of how far do Arsenal go to get this deal done. One thing I will say with Arsenal, they need to be making that offer soon. I think they need to make that offer today. They need to respond. They need to show that we're serious now. Offer that 100 million properly and see what happens. Big up George. Big up O'Malley, who said, Curtis, I think people forget deals are spread over years. Havertz is probably 12 to 15 million a year over the length of the contract. West Ham want 50 up front. That's the sticking point. FFP is the issue. And you're right, O'Malley. You are right. Most transfers are spread over the length of their contract. But West Ham have made it clear and obvious. We can't do that this year. We can't. We need the dough. So Arsenal know the circumstances. If you know you can't afford something, you've made a couple offers, but eventually you got to walk away or pay the money. And I think that's the point we're reaching with Arsenal. You tried to negotiate. You tried to lowball. It didn't work. Now City are here. It's pay or leave the shop. I think that's where we're at now with this deal. Unbiased Rice is not Kante that he's going for 100 million. He's not, but how many Kantes are there? That's the problem. But yeah, I hear you on that. Cooper said, forget Rice. We would be better off signing Barella and Caicedo. I would rather sign them two. That is for sure, but they would be very expensive for the both. Alex said, truth is West Ham knew Man City were going to bid at some stage. So even if we had offered the 100, they would have rejected and waited for City to create a bidding war. And that 100 million would become a base. Possibly. You could be right in that. maybe that's what West Ham were waiting for, you know, the second offer from a different club. Red Smoke said, big up C, we need to keep going with Rice. We have come so far. Future Arsenal captain. Let's show the league we are serious. I'm with you on that. It's not even so much that I want Rice because of how good I think he is. It's don't let Man City get one over us before the season even starts, you know. And Joba said, has become a new member. Big up to you, bro. Really appreciate you joining as a member. And big up Matt Southern Gooner. He said, it's time to put up or shut up with the Rice deal. This will also give us a glimpse in how serious we are in the market when it comes to top players. And I totally agree with that. I think not only is this about signing Declan Rice, this is about sending out a message. We're back. We're in the Champions League. This is the most serious Arsenal you have seen in years in the transfer market. Spending £100 million on a player. Getting him ahead of Manchester City. Building our future around Saliba, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. That's half your team there for the next 5 years. And then obviously other players around that in other positions. I think we need to send out that statement. I think if Man City come along and swoop him off us, it's just going to be same old, same old. All of a sudden, we're sitting there going, okay, we've bought Havertz, and that's it. See these clips. He's having a go at me here, but we'll have a discussion. He said, respectfully, Curtis, we have money. What are you waffling about? We can't really blame Edu or the Kroenkes. I mean, I was with you until that last part. I don't really understand how we can't blame the Kroenkes or blame Edu, because they're dictating the way we make the offer. We have not signed Declan Rice because of the structure of the offer and the amount of the offer. And that is down to the Kroenkes, and that is down to Edu negotiating. So who are you blaming? See these clips. You're coming for me there, respectfully, but whose fault is it then? Whose fault is it? If the Kroenkes have got the money, why don't they pay the money? Why don't Edu negotiate? Of course it's down to them. Who else is it? It is down to them. It has to be down to them. I don't get that one. The negotiators are Garlic and Tim Lewis, yeah, again, but hired by the Kroenkes, you know. The comment deserves a timeout. I mean, yeah, I don't understand that one. Don't blame Edu, he's hungry, that's why he's on the barbecue. Zoo said, honestly speaking, I don't think we'll reach 120, whereas City will if we don't Kroenke out. Yeah, I don't even think we should go to 120 million. Desire said, I think Edu is not involved in this massive deal. I think he is the side dish at the moment, because I cannot understand how he's having beers and partying, not doing anything. It's a good point. He may not be the one negotiating it, really. And Joba said, I did hear from other accounts, Edu only coordinates the contact, and Garlic and, not Mislintat, Garlic and Tim Lewis do the negotiation. So maybe it's down to them. And Real to the Bone said, Curtis, bro, if it wasn't for Arteta smooth talking, we wouldn't be signing anyone. Yeah, he's convincing a lot of these guys to join us, but we'll see. Trackformers, when did Rice become a £120 million player? Let's get a grip. It's crazy. The market inflation is insane. What we got? Simon said we should offer 90 plus 10 over 4. Take it or leave it. If not, send Balogun to Inter plus 15 for Barella. Good deal for all. Then Caicedo or Lavia. I would be very happy with Caicedo and Barella. That is for sure. That would represent fantastic work by Arsenal. But my concern and worry now is, do we actually have a plan B? Are we actually prepared for a situation if we don't get Declan Rice? You know, that's what we need to deal with. Ash said, Curtis, I think if Declan Rice was from Italy and was called Declanio Ricinio, he would be worth 30 to 40 million. So much English tax. I am telling you, the English tax is real. Edu's in Cricklewood getting barbecue equipment yesterday. I saw that picture. It does make you think, don't it, that Edu doesn't seem to be the one in charge of what's going off. You know, he's at Royal Ascot drinking beers, and then it looks like he's in holiday mode. Big up Omar said, Big C straight out of Kingston, Jamaica. Edu can't sell or buy a player. How are we going to be back on top if the sporting director can't do his job? It's crazy. It is crazy. It's a massive part of getting back to the top of football. And Latte said Edu negotiates Portuguese players only. And Connor said, are you telling me Rice is worth 30 million less than Mbappe? Just spend all of our money on Mbappe. But obviously he wouldn't come to us, unfortunately. But yeah, let's move on from Declan Rice. It's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. We clearly have the money, but it's about the structure. Can they pay it quick enough? Can they pay the upfront costs that they want? Or is it a case that, because remember, they are saying there's FFP issues with Arsenal. If you look at Arsenal's business over the last 2 or 3 years, we've spent 100 to 150 million every summer. We've hardly recouped anything outside of Joe Willock, Iwobi a few years ago, Emi Martinez a few years ago. We haven't barely made anything over the last 3 or 4 years. So maybe Arsenal can't pay that kind of money in 2 installments. So listen, it's going to be a waiting game. Let's hope we get the offer today, because like I said, it's a saga that we just want to end now, one way or another. Now, Arsenal are seeking alternatives, people, and we threw names out there. Caicedo, there was a report yesterday that Arsenal are going to go back in for Caicedo if Partey leaves, although the reports were saying Partey now wants to stay. But Chelsea are getting closer to getting Caicedo. So what worries me now is this could be, we go into a bidding war for Declan Rice, Chelsea sign Caicedo, Rice ends up at Man City, we don't end up with any of our top targets. If you've seen today, Chelsea have sold Loftus-Cheek to AC Milan, Ziyech, Koulibaly have been confirmed to Saudi, Mendy's going Saudi as well, and Havertz obviously going to Arsenal. That's 5 players out of the door already. You will now see Chelsea go and buy players. They've cleared their financial fair play difficulties there. They will go for Caicedo. So we've got to get one of the two. Now, Arsenal are seeking alternatives. I'm leaning on the community here. For anybody that maybe watches French football a lot, let me know about this guy. I don't have much to tell you, but Arsenal are seeking a move for Youssef Fofana. He's a Monaco midfielder, French international, was in the French squad for the World Cup. I've done what we all do when we don't know too much about a player. You type his name in on YouTube. I don't know too much about him. He's a centre midfielder, can also play defensive mid, quite physical, 6'1", plays for Monaco, played 36 times for Monaco last season, was in the French squad for the World Cup, made 6 appearances in the World Cup, 2 starts, 4 substitute appearances. Monaco want around 30 to 35 million pounds for Fofana. And I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you much about him. People, anyone watched him in the comments, let me know, how good is he? What are his qualities? Apparently he's brilliant at winning the ball back. LB said, nah, bang average, too rash, gets carded too much. Omid said, absolute baller, technically way better. Julian Lawrence is saying that he's as good as Chouameni. El Neni is better than him, somebody just said. Sahil said El Neni's better. Latte said plan B. I mean, this to me looks like plan C, F, Z. You know, no disrespect. He might be good. I like... Which one? There's another Fofana. I think the other Fofana is the one who's going to Saudi at the moment. What's the... You know the other Fofana, man. I forget his first name. Does it begin with S? I think he's on his way to Saudi at the moment. Seko Fofana, is it? That's him. Although he's 28, plays for Lens, but he's a baller. But I'm not sure about this guy. Seko Fofana, I think, is the better one. He's going Saudi for mega money. He played starting lineup for France in the World Cup. That's enough for me. I mean, he played 2 games. So I'm not going to get too hyped about that. He played 2 games. This, to me, screams out panic buy. Cheap alternative. You know, I'm sorry, it does. 30-odd million quid. The price is irrelevant. You know, if he's a good player, it is what it is. I'm not saying he's a bad player because I haven't seen enough of him. But it just screams out. This doesn't... Let's put it this way. This doesn't show the kind of signing of a team that have just finished second in the Premier League. I'd expect to sign him when we finished fifth last year. I would have expected to sign him when we finished fifth or when we were seventh and eighth. No disrespect. Finishing second, we're desperate for a midfielder and you go and buy a guy from Monaco that doesn't sound that highly rated for 30 odd minutes. I could be totally wrong. He could come in and be an absolute tank for us, but I'm underwhelmed. I'm sorry, I'm underwhelmed. And you can't tell me that Mikel Arteta spent all summer saying, get me Youssef Fofana from Monaco. He wasn't. He wanted Caicedo in January. He wanted Rice in the summer. I'm not buying into this one. And listen, I might be doing him a horrible disservice here. He may come in and be an absolute quality player for us, but I'm not sure. Sakin said, so wait, it's going to be a Fofana, Havertz, Odegaard midfield. That would be catastrophic. Creeper said, big up Big C and the community locked in late. Declan Fisher, a lot of people like that one. That was, you know what we're on, people, information and entertainment. Fofana has the potential to be a Moussa Diaby before his injury. What I saw Arteta has done with Xhaka, I'm confident Arteta can turn this kid into a star. If we'd signed Caicedo or Declan Rice and then we went and signed Youssef Fofana, I would say I can work with that kind of signing. Because Arsenal might go, right, we're going to go big on one centre mid and then we'll get one that's a bit younger, a bit cheaper that can be a project. Cool, I can work with that. If you get Declan Rice, then get Lavia, I can work with that. If you get Rice, then go Fofana, I can work with that. But if you're trying to get me a Lavia or a Fofana as our main centre midfielder, as an alternative for Declan Rice, and then you're trying to potentially sell Thomas Partey, I'm sorry, I don't buy into that. I'm not buying into that. Because we've just finished second, 6 years out of the Champions League. We're supposed to be buying ready-made, proven footballers to take us to the next level. We can't be signing projects and starting them in midfield. Like, Newcastle have got a better midfield than Arsenal. Newcastle were in a relegation battle 12 months ago. They've got a better midfield than Arsenal. They've got Tonali and Joe Linton and Bruno Gomes in midfield. Their midfield's better than ours. So, I'm sorry. And no, I'm sorry. This guy might be good, and if he comes in, fair play to him. But this ain't it. This ain't it, people. Sign these guys when we're 7th or 8th or 5th. We're finishing second. Man City are trying to buy Rice for 100 million. They're trying to buy Vardy for 100 million. I ain't trying to buy some guy who's had one decent season in the French league. You know, I'm not buying it. This ain't it. Man United fans were protesting at their stadium this morning. Again, they just finished third and won a trophy. They're protesting, saying, listen, you man better sell the club now. I'm not buying into this. Someone just said James will have a tactical show out if we sign him. Listen, he's doing his work. It is what it is, but the club need to go bigger. This ain't even a plan B. This is like plan W. I don't know what this is. He might be good. I'm not writing him off as a player, but I'm sorry, that ain't it. That ain't gonna get us above Man City next season. You need more than that. Neto said, we're all in for Rice, in my opinion. I'm 90% sure we get him. A City are in for Gvardiol for 100 million. As exciting as the Kai deal, Rice was needed first. I mean, I haven't heard many people say the Kai Havertz deal is exciting, but time will tell with that one. Simon said, we still owe 154 million on previous transfers. Chelsea are 164 million. Not much difference. City are owed 7 million. And where are the player sales as well with Arsenal? You know, we do need to sell. Like I said, we had 11 players out on loan. What happens with Pepe? You know, what happens with Charlie Patino? What happens with Cedric? What happens with Austin Trusty? You know, a lot of these need to be dealt with as well. But yeah, they're not far off us, but I think there's still one or two players they're trying to sell. Mason Mount will probably get sold. Havertz will go through. There's one or two others. Aspilicueta's being linked with a move as well. Herbert said, Big C, at the end of the season, I used to cringe at your comments thinking you were negative. But I apologise, bro. I'm back on board. This club is a joke because of the owners. We will fail. City will get Rice. Now listen, let's discuss this. And listen, this ain't about I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. Ultimately, any football fan wants the best for their football club, right? And Mikel Arteta put out a statement yesterday, actually. I'm going to bring that up later, but he was saying something along the lines of, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but he said, we didn't win the league because our squad wasn't good enough. And I was constantly saying that I was tweeting that January window will cost us. And people were going crazy. What you talking about? The January window, blah, blah, blah. I said that January window is going to come back and bite us. It's not good enough. You know, we needed instant impact. Somebody that could come in and lift the level mid-season. Trossard did well, to be fair. I like that signing. But we didn't get a game changer through the door. And the problem with Arsenal a lot of the time is not what's happening on the pitch, it's what's happening off the pitch. Because I actually think that Mikel Arteta, with the right team and the right squad, could probably achieve something great with this side. When you look at the football we were playing last season, if he had the right players, we would have probably won the title last season. If they'd have got him Caicedo and maybe one or two others. But because they are always trying to cut corners, always trying to say we tried. Arsenal are just, we tried. Oh, we tried to get Caicedo. We tried to get Mudryk. We tried to get Declan Rice. That narrative has to change. Winners don't try. They get the job done. And that's something that needs to change at Arsenal. So listen, I respect you for coming out and saying, you know, you didn't always agree or, you know, a lot of people don't agree. It's fine. But I always say to people, okay, if you don't agree, give me your angle. What do you think needs to happen at Arsenal? You know, how can we improve? And that's where we're at. It's open discussion. So fair play. What's a bigger risk, Kai for 65 or Rice for 100 million? I would say every single day of the week, Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz for me is a bigger risk because Declan Rice is one of them players. I think it's hard for him to have a bad game because he'll work hard, he'll tackle, he'll win his headers. He's passionate. He's a leader. He will always produce 6.5 out of 10, even when he's not playing that well. Where Kai Havertz, from what I've seen at Chelsea, he's one of them players that when he's having a bad game, he's awful. He looks like he's not interested. When he's good, fair enough. So I think Havertz is a bigger risk. I think the fan base will love Declan Rice from day one. For the simple reason, number one, if he signs for us, that means he's turned down Man City. He will already be loved by the Arsenal fan base. The English tax, the fact he'll be a poster boy with Saka, the Arsenal fans are going to love Declan Rice if we sign him. Kai Havertz, there's already a lot of question marks in the Arsenal fans' mind. Is this guy a Chelsea reject? Is he going to be able to play the role? He's a much more quiet, laid-back character. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where we're at. Healthy discussion and enter. Listen, I've always said I don't expect everyone in the comments to agree with me. That's not what this channel is about. Oh, everyone just follow my opinion. No, a lot of you will disagree. As long as it's respectful, we'll discuss it. No problem. People don't have balanced view these days or say anything to stay on one side. Yeah, well, some people do. Yeah, we've seen it. He may stay and sign a contract at this rate. Cliff said, why can't we skip the circus and get Maddison, a quality striker, bargain right back and a DM, moves in it at 8, develop a new system, playing Tierney at left back. I have to admit, just outside of the Arsenal news, Tottenham are close to signing James Maddison for £50 million. They've offered around 40. I think they're going to accept about 50. You do have to wonder, don't you, if Havertz is going to play in that 8 role, why not sign Maddison for 50 million, who plays that role, who has been producing in that role for the last 2 or 3 years, rather than Havertz, who's played up front for the last couple of years, and try and put him into a role that he hasn't played for a while. I have to admit, that's a big risk. He could have bought Maddison for less than Havertz and played him in a role that he's been thriving in. Even last year, Maddison got 20 goal contributions. But he wants Havertz, and I think he likes Havertz because Havertz can play up front, can play in the 10, can possibly play in the 8. And like a lot of you are saying, Maddison's been getting injured quite a lot, so maybe that's gone against him. Sashiv said, big up Curtis as a United fan, our transfer is comedy, no surprise at all. Man United are caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment where, because the sale hasn't gone through and the Glazers know that investment is going to come in from elsewhere, they're not going to put their hand in their own pocket. So I think United are limited in what they can do at the moment, which must be very frustrating. Must be frustrating because you need to build on what you did last season. And Simon said, Edu needs to have a barbecue and a garage sale to sell out all our excess players. It would help. It would help. That was for sure. We got a lot of players that need to be sold. But yeah, that's where we're at with midfielders at the moment. So anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on to another couple of stories before we begin to round up as we approach the hour. And wow, this one came out of nowhere this morning, people. And the first bit won't surprise you at all, people, because it looks like Rob Holding is going to Turkey. Most of you will be saying, Rob Holding in Turkey. What's the surprise about that? You can see by the hair on his head. He's clearly been to Turkey before. You know, he was Bob Holding. By the end of the season, it was Rob Rasterman Holding. So Rob Holding going to Turkey is no surprise. He's been there before. But he's actually going there to play football this time. Arsenal defender Rob Holding is in talks with Besiktas over a possible loan deal to join the Turkish club this summer as Mikel Arteta continues to overhaul his squad. The Gunners have received an offer for the centre-back. Holding is now discussing a move away from the Emirates, with Arsenal going all out to sign Ajax defender Jurriën Timber this week in a deal that could exceed £40 million. Wow. I mean, first of all, Besiktas, no disrespect, have you actually watched Rob Holding play that many games? In fact, no, let me not do that. He's a great player. He's got fantastic hair. He's a cool guy. He's been at the club for years. Buy him. Absolutely get the deal. He'll be unbelievable in the Turkish league. Buy him. He's brilliant. If you need a CV, you know, he's got a great CV. He's been at Arsenal for years. He's superb. I reckon he's going to Turkey because if anything goes wrong with his hair, he doesn't need to catch a flight over there. You know, he just can quickly drive down the road and, you know, get it sorted out real quick. So, yeah, I think it works for all parties, to be honest. But the only thing that disappointed me with this is that the fact that it's only a loan deal. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but I think most Arsenal fans would have liked this to have been a permanent deal. I'm not being disrespectful. I think I don't want to be in a situation in a year's time where he goes to Besiktas, doesn't do well, and they're sending him back to Arsenal, and then it's a problem we've got to deal with in a year's time. I want this to be an obligation to buy at the end of it. A loan gets him out the door temporarily, not permanently. So, listen, Rob Holding, all jokes aside, good luck to him. Go over there, do well, and hopefully they'll buy him. No details at the moment about whether this is an obligation or an option to buy at the end of the loan deal. But I think the story of Rob Holding at Arsenal needs to end now. You know, famously Wenger said, "I'm sorry, I did not pay 50 million for him." Well, we found out why you didn't pay 50 million for him. Listen, he's been what can I say? He's been at the club for a long time. I think he's been very fortunate to be at the club for so long, if I'm being totally honest. Cool guy. Spoke to him over there on tour. I got to be honest, he gave up his time. He had, open conversations. A cool guy, but he's not good enough. He's not good enough. The fact he hasn't had one cap for England, despite playing for Arsenal for, 7-8 years, I think tells you a lot. Even Carl Jenkinson got one England cap. And he's possibly the worst right-back in the history of Arsenal Football Club. I'm convinced Carl Jenkinson got a golden ticket in a chocolate bar like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Even he got one cap for England. So, listen, big him up, hold him back to Turkey. Makes sense for more than one reason. Football and here. I can't knock the hustle, people. I never knock the hustle. If you're a below-average player and you can stay at a club like Arsenal for 7-8 years, become a millionaire, play in the Premier League, then boy, I respect it. I respect it. I can't knock the hustle. That's real hustle. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. It is what it is. But will he go there and actually get signed permanently, or does he come back in 12 months' time? Only time will tell. Good luck to Rob Holding. He's stolen a career at Arsenal. Well, he smiles and he trains well. That can get you a career at Arsenal. Samuel said, admit it, Curtis, you're jealous. Oh, no, Samuel. Yo, at least mine's natural, you know, Samuel. At least mine's natural, you know. I'm doing all right for my age, you know. Samuel's always going for me, you know, but he pays to do it. Eventually, you're going to get a time out for that, you know, I'm telling you. And Samuel, I mean, listen, bro, I can't tell from the picture, but there ain't a lot on top of that head either. So, you know what I mean? Maybe you're jealous of his hairline. Hey, big up Samuel. Hey, you give it, you got to take it, bro. You give it, you got to take it. It is what it is. Joshua said I'd pay him to leave. Yeah, we can all chip in. I'll stick a tenner in there. We'll do a GoFundMe and get the permanent deal done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, anyway, let's move on. Information and entertainment, people, you know what I'm saying? They're licking off shots. I got to lick something back, you know what I mean? I can't have it. Samuel's been throwing that jab for a few weeks now. I got to give something back, you know? We call that one the check hook. Remember when Mayweather knocked out Ricky Hatton, the check hook, man? I had to just drop the check hook on him, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. It is what it is. Let's move on, people. Let's move on. Right, where we at? Timber. Quick update on Timber. Not even going to talk about this brother for long because we're just going round and round. So this is another one. By the time we sign him, we probably won't even be that excited about this one either. But according to Sammy Mockbell, this deal is almost done. Arsenal have now submitted a £41.5 million offer for Jurriën Timber. Arsenal are hoping for a positive conclusion in the coming days. And it actually says that Ajax have basically verbally agreed to accept 41.5 million. The only thing that's slowing down the transfer is the structure of the payment and the add-ons and those sorts of things. So Jurriën Timber is on his way to Arsenal. We've spoken about him a number of times. Is he good, says Wintex? I'll be totally honest, man. I don't know how good he is. He looks quick and he looks like he's very good in possession. But how good is he? I don't know. We're going to play him at right back. Are we using him as rotation at centre back? I'm not sure. But what I do think is he provides good squad depth. He can play at right back. He's going to be a better right-sided centre back than Holding. So fair play. I think this deal will be done this week. He's already agreed personal terms, 5-year deal. They're just tying up the loose ends now, how Ajax get the money and so on and so forth. So Timber is on his way. Boo fans, they've blocked the entrance and closed down their mega store with a Glazers out protest. Listen, Man United growing up was definitely our biggest rivals, in my opinion. I think bigger than the Tottenham rivalry, but maybe that's because I was living outside of London at the time. I think that Man United fans, the way they have put pressure on their owners is only to be admired, if I'm being totally honest. To get a game called off, to block the coach, break into the stadium, get the game called off. And they have got some action. Now, maybe they haven't got the action they wanted. They wanted the Qataris to take over. But at least something's happened. And apparently, yeah, I saw their fans, because the Man United shirt came out today, and I think they blocked the mega store entrance. So at least they're taking action. You know, at least they're taking action. Fair enough. Them Coronation Street, man, they don't mess around. Devin said next Rice bid is 100 million plus add-ons to get it done. I personally think 90 plus 10. 90 plus 10, I think, could get it done. But it's just the problem you've got is then what happens if we offer that? Do Man City come in and say, all right, you've offered 100 million, we'll offer 110. And I just don't think that Arsenal would go any higher than 100 million. That is the problem. I think once it reaches 100 million, Arsenal fall out of that race. I don't think they're going to go any higher. So Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure with that one whether it goes beyond 100 million. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But Timber looks like he's on his way to Arsenal this week. £41.5 million. And he will be one of the two signings that get announced this week. And we all know who the other signing who's going to get announced this week is. Do we even bring him up on the screen? Are we excited? Do we continue? Is it all a dream, people? Like Biggie Small said, it was all a dream. I used to be a magazine, salt and pepper, and every G up in the limousine. I mean, Kai Havertz, it wasn't exactly the thing we were dreaming of, but yeah. I don't even think we need to bring the picture on screen, to be honest. We know it's happening. There was a leaked picture yesterday of Havertz in the Arsenal kit. And what Arsenal are trying to get out, what they're trying to gain. This is what I saw yesterday from Arsenal fans. We're trying to get brownie points here. Not me, by the way. But they said, look at the difference in his reaction when he signed for Chelsea versus when he signed for Arsenal. He signed for Chelsea. There was no smile, serious face. Now he signed for Arsenal. He's smiling. We freed him up, man. We got him out the streets. We got him out the streets, people, man. He was committing crime over there in West London. We got him to North London. We've saved him. Listen, as I've said with this one, people said I've been clutching at straws. It's just wait and see. What position's he going to play? 8, 10 up front? I don't know. He's joining. Let's hope for the best. That's all we can do. There's not a lot I can say to you other than hope for the best with Kai Havertz. This one and Timber, I think, will definitely be announced in the next day or two. But it's the Declan Rice one that we're all waiting on. Let's be totally honest. Just seen a report online actually saying that Harry Kane is willing to join Bayern Munich if Bayern Munich can agree a fee with Tottenham. So that's interesting. Tottenham have turned down 70 million euros from Bayern. So yeah, anyway. But can we resurrect Havertz? Can we resurrect his career? Get that ish off the screen. Yeah, I think that one's still very sensitive, isn't it? It's going to take a while for Arsenal fans to really warm to that one. I'm still not. I can't pretend that I'm happy about it, but if it works out, then fair enough. As I said, for me, that's probably the riskiest transfer that Arteta has made since he's been at Arsenal because of the price, the wages, and the opinion of him as a player already. So, time will tell. We're about to round up, people. Let's get into some of your comments before we end the show. We haven't really got a lot else going off at the moment. So we're just seeing if this offer comes in today. What are your expectations with Havertz? I think he'll play just behind the striker with Odegaard. I would like to see him get double figures, goals. If you could get 10 goals out of Kai Havertz, because I don't think he'll start up front unless Jesus is injured or there's a lack of form. So assuming he plays behind the striker, I'd be looking for 10 goals. You can get 10 goals from him, 10, 15 again from Odegaard, 15 Martinelli, 15 Saka, 15 from Jesus. The goals get spread like that, 10 to 15 goals with some assists. My concern is just, can he play in that Granit Xhaka role? Has he got the defensive work rate to do that? As Chips has said. Big up the Twitch gang as well. Big up everyone watching on Twitch and on YouTube. Over 3,000 of you. Like the video and subscribe, people. Where is the Declan Rice offer, though? That's what we need to see. Arsenal ain't bidding today. It will come maybe on Thursday. Kai Bergkamp, second striker. If he gets anywhere near there, we'll be happy. 20 goal contributions, goal assists. Yeah, that would be great. We should give Chelsea a taste of their own medicine and hijack Caicedo. Are they really interested in Caicedo now? That's the problem. Wits Capone, you heard about Stormzy and Zaha. Yeah, they bought a club in Croydon, semi-pro club. I like things like that, Let's see. Young Gunner said, we need to be careful with the negotiations with West Ham or we'll be priced, iced out of the deal. Curtis, Straw TV back in full effect. I'm clutching at straws, people. I'm trying. Big up yourself, Young Gunner. 20 said, can Timber be Zinni's upgrade? Go 4 centre-backs like City? Possibly. You could go Kivior, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, and play with no fullbacks, and then have Timber going into midfield inverted. We tend to copy a lot of the things that Pep does, so it wouldn't surprise you. Kai Van Persie said, Sashiv, yeah, I mean, we're a long way off that, aren't we? We're a long, long way off that. Havertz is the next Ozil. I mean, early Ozil at Arsenal did very well. Towards the end, he faded. Marcus said, big up Big C, Harry Kane going to Bayern Munich to win a trophy. I have to admit, I'd be very surprised if Kane went to Bayern. Not because Bayern are not good, he'll win the league there, he'll score loads of goals. It's just, I always thought, number one, he was desperate to stay in the Prem. I thought the only thing that would maybe tempt him abroad would be maybe the Real Madrid move. But Bayern Munich would be an interesting one. But I think he's desperate to win trophies, isn't he, at this stage? James O'Connor said, Big C, Kai's defensive stats are actually decent. That's fair enough. I've heard, his work rate and stuff. It's just, I'm thinking away at Anfield, away at the Etihad, away at Everton, which is very physical. Is he up for the fight? I just don't know. Clement said, sack Edu, Garlic and Lewis if this transfer window goes south if we don't get Rice. For me, I mean, listen, I agree with you. They've tried to say this is the whole structure, but if this transfer window doesn't work, someone's got to be moved on, because that means something within that, chain of command is not working. I guess no right winger or striker this summer. I don't think so. I think Havertz will be the striker / right winger / attacking midfielder. I think that's why they've signed him, because, again, Mikel would go to Josh and Stan and say, I don't need to buy Moussa Diaby, for example, who we were being linked with, and Ivan Toney, who would cost you between them over 100 million. I can get you Havertz for 65 million, who can play up front, who can play right wing, who can play number 10. So I think it ticks a number of boxes. I'm not happy about it. That's not what I would want, but that's how it will be justified. Stan Kroenke will be delighted with this deal of Kai Havertz, because he doesn't have to buy a striker and a winger and spend more money. Fuzzy said Arsenal need a proper 20-goal plus striker. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're hoping that Jesus can get closer. Over 3K watching. Jesus, what's going on here? Talking about Kai Havertz, man. Over 3K watching. Smash the likes, people. Get up to 2K before the stream ends. Make sure you follow on TikTok as well. Just convince Balogun to be our striker, says Raul. We'll have to see with that, but he looks as if he is on his way out of Arsenal at the moment. He wants guarantees of first-team football, and we are not offering it him. Like I said, for me, I would sell Eddie Nketiah. I would put Balogun in as the second striker and tell him that, look, you're going to get game time and you go for a genuine battle with Jesus to be the number one striker, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think they'll sell Balogun, which I think is crazy. But hey, it is what it is. People, thank you very much for tuning in. Let's just see. Tweet just now saying Real would accept 90 million euros for Valverde. I mean, there you go. What's 90 million euros in pounds? About 80 million? Keep saying it. There are good, suitable alternatives out there if we don't get Declan Rice. Inter want 80 million for Barella. They're now saying, 90 million for Valverde? And you could get other players as well. Caicedo will probably cost 80, 90 million as well. So, listen, we'll see what happens. If there is an offer for Declan Rice, we will go live later on. If not, then it will be tomorrow, people. And I'm back on AFTV tomorrow doing Talking Transfers show with Robbie and James and one other guest. I think it may be Cecil. No, I think Cecil's gone abroad. So it'll be someone else. So tune into that. I'll be live again tomorrow, probably at 4 o'clock tomorrow. But if we do get a Declan Rice offer, obviously we'll go live before that. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And let's hope Arsenal get this Declan Rice deal done sooner rather than later, people. Take care. Bless.